Samsung really did it this time. Like, it jumped that bridge and finally has a device that people can look up to. Now this is the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Okay, for me and I guess everyone, a premium phone should have everything up a notch. It should have a good display, great camera, good looks, of course the looks are important, and holding the phone should give that feel of premiumness. And that is the case with the Galaxy S10 Plus. I mean, as you hold the device, first of all, it's extremely lightweight. Like, even with having a massive 4100 mAh battery, it somehow feels super light. And then there's the glossy finish on the glass back that just brings that premium look to the phone. And because there's no rear fingerprint sensor on the back, what you get is a clean look with camera module kind of placed symmetrically little below the top edge. The catch here is, since it's a big phone and generally using the S10 Plus requires two hands, the camera bump tends to come in contact with the left hand fingers. Now I don't know, one might get used to it, but right now, since the camera module is sitting above the rear glass, it feels kind of annoying touching it again and again. Anyway, coming back to the gorgeous glass back of the S10 Plus, the panel shows these prismatic colors which gives a kind of mesmerizing look to the device. I have this prism white variant, so the smudges are barely visible, but I think they will become more visible on the black or the blue variant. Let's talk about that pill-shaped notch for a while. Samsung says that the camera module is precisely laser cut into the display, making it the Infinity O display. But for us, it's more or less a notch. Even if it's just shifted little to the right and separated from the edge, it's still the good old notch. It's actually ironic how Samsung is advocating for a cutout when in fact Samsung trolled Apple again and again for having a notch on their iPhones. The laser cut on the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus is definitely a new way to get that uninterrupted display, but it also tells us that notches aren't going anywhere, at least not this year. Oh, and by the way, the Galaxy S10 Plus, as you can see, has a dual punch hole, whereas the normal variant has a single punch hole. Samsung says that the dual camera on the front here is only a single camera and a depth sensor. Now that is something I will test later on, but for now I think Samsung S10 is something you would want rather than the Plus variant, because apart from this two lens on the front, there is not much of a difference, like both of them having the same rear camera, which is a triple lens setup, a primary lens, a wide angle lens and telephoto lens, which means you can save $150 here, which is not a bad deal. On the Galaxy S10 Plus, there's a cool way to play with the notch. Some users are coming up with these cool wallpapers of characters where they blend in with the notch. Of course, that won't always be the case, especially when watching content on that big screen. Yeah, that screen. Now we know that Samsung puts top of the line displays in their phone. Anyway, I recently reviewed Samsung Galaxy M20, which is a budget smartphone, and the best thing about that device was the display. So the display is kind of that part where Samsung always excels, and we pretty much see that in the Galaxy S10 Plus as well. So there is a Quad HD AMOLED panel with 1440 into 3040 resolution, which means it's extremely sharp. But it's a really huge display, and again, which means the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus is not a one-hand phone. Now by default, the device comes with full HD resolution for the purpose of saving more battery, but you can bump that up to WQHD resolution in the device settings. Now there's a lot of things going on with this display, but I will talk about that and some more in my full review of the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. But one thing I wouldn't miss here is the Samsung Galaxy's in-display fingerprint scanner. Now since the start of this trend of fingerprint sensor in the display, we have usually seen the optical one where a tiny camera under the display captures the images of your finger and compares it with the stored images. But the Galaxy S10 Plus is the first phone to hold an ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensor, which means the sensor uses ultrasounds to create the images of your finger ridges. Now even with the new tech, it's not quite close to the traditional rear fingerprint sensor in terms of speed, but it is relatively faster than the optical one which is used in the OnePlus 6T. It is also more secure and even works when the fingers are wet, which is not the case in the OnePlus 6T. But losing the rear fingerprint sensor on the S10 Plus feels like a compromise. That is because of that power button, which is awkwardly placed little too high on the sides. I have large hands and still it gets difficult for me to press that button. And here you can also unlock the device while the screen is off with the in-display fingerprint sensor. So I don't know, one can forget about the button, like it totally depends upon you. Now I've been a Samsung user for a long time, so I know when Samsung puts a feature, just for it to be there. And I think that is the case with the reverse wireless charging. I know phones have been coming out with this tech, but seriously, charging one device from another doesn't sound right to me. Of course, charging small devices, say a Galaxy Watch or the new Galaxy Buds from Samsung, makes more sense to me. Possibly the second gen phones would bring much more new ways to use this reverse wireless charging. But right now, because it's a feature exclusive to $800 and above, there is not much sense to it. Now, what do you feel about the reverse wireless charging? Like, is it really useful? Tell me in the comments down below. Now, internals are pretty much the usual in all the Galaxy S10 variants. There is the Snapdragon 855 and all starts with the 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. The interesting one is that the S10 Plus variant, which has like 12GB of RAM and comes with 1TB of storage, which is like more than what my laptop has. The device is IP68 rated, Bixby button is still there, so no luck there. Now, one thing that I appreciate here is the headphone jack. Like even launching the Galaxy Bud, Samsung managed to keep the headphone jack, which is nice. So that's all for today. I hope you liked the video. Do give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends. Also hit the subscribe button below so you never miss a video from us. Okay folks, see you later.